And welcome to episode 55 of our Ripping the Rack podcast. As you can tell, we've got a fourth member today. So I'm going to go through. I am your co-host or Triforce, Tim. Maki, you're on bottom again today. So sorry, buddy.
Maki, I'll just get my air. I'll keep my head out to the side. Yeah. I'll keep getting air this way. That's fine.
Yeah, get your air. Up on top, Mr. Brian, how are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. And joining us today, the legendary host with the most of the Dudes and Belts Chatcast on Twitch, Johnny Deathdrop. Mr. John Starner, how are you, buddy?
Oh my God. Give a guy an XLR board and look what happens.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the round of applause there in the Ripping the Rack community. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, that's how we roll. That's how we roll with this show right there.
We roll deep.
We do. So for those of you who don't know John, he sucks, but we asked him to join us anyway. You know.
Appreciate the vote of confidence there, Tim.
Oh no, Steiner's a good guy. We're going to be doing some bowling talk today. All bowling all the time. Of course, this is our Tuesday edition where we will talk candlepin bowling.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, as we get going, I do want to plug a tournament here that hasn't been plugged yet. And it is not full, so feel free to reach out to Will Damon or Stars and Strikes at Fabulous Stars and Strikes Bowling Center in South Paris, Maine. They have a highly interesting tournament going on, a 343 cap, 3-person, 9-pin marathon tournament. This will be on June 19th. So it's coming up in about 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Be 9 a.m. I'll read through a little bit of this thing. So it's a really kind of a cool format and one that I want to talk about briefly because I've never done a tournament like this. This is a team event. 343 cap team. Each game will be bowled by the whole team bowling as followed. Bowler A will bowl boxes 1, 2, and 3. Bowler B will bowl boxes 4, 5, 6, and 7. Bowler C will bowl boxes 8, 9, and 10, fill in any marks in the 10th frame. In each 3-game match, all bowlers must bowl in all positions over the course of the match.
Ooh.
Yes.
There's a caveat. That's you have to switch the order up a skosh. That's interesting.
Yep. Bowl each team once in a 3-game match. Each game is worth 2 points, with a total being worth 2 points. So 8 points possible per match. I think that's kind of a cool. It's $200 per team, so call it
good money.
$65 a person. That's an all day thing. Payouts are based on 14 teams. Side pools will be optional. They are paying right now. I think they're paying 3.
Plenty.
I think they're paying 3 spots. But I want to talk about this for a sec because number one, this is cool as shit tournament. I've never done something like this.
That's so unique. That's what we need too. Some of these new formats, new styles of things in the game. You know, the other types of tournaments, the regular 5-stringers or doubles, you know, regular knockouts and stuff. We all like them, but something new and fresh is the general going to be the way to go. They attract new people, and especially this could be a cool mix of people where you could get your higher average 120s or the 25s and also pair in very nicely 100 or 105 average because of that 343 average cap.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's really different. I really like it.
It is.
And with everybody having to bowl in every spot, it gives guys a chance to bowl anchor in a tournament like this that might not typically get to.
Absolutely.
Get put in a pressure situation, you know.
Yes.
Johnny, you ever bowled in anything like this?
Didn't New Palace had something like this a while ago for the TV show when they had their doubles?
Yeah, that was the way they did their doubles tournament, the old TV show. It was a little different. It was there were 3-string roll-ups, but you had a doubles team, and guy A bowled boxes 1 to 5, and then guy B bowled 6 to 10. So, and then that was your team score going through, which
Okay.
it's kind of similar to this, but now we add a third person and an average cap
And
and
in a
9
three
pin.
string, you got to bowl in all 3 spots. So I don't know. I'm intrigued. I can't. I wish I could bowl that weekend, but I have plans. So I can't bowl that weekend. But that would be kind of fun. That'd be
And with it being 9 pin, I mean, if they're just playing first ball 9 pin, I know I've done tournaments where people have done second ball as well. Like,
No, this is all 3. That's
It's
how
all
we
3.
typically do it in Maine.
That's-
It's all 3.
so
Yeah.
if you have, like, let's say you drop 6 on your first ball and you only take out 3 of the remaining 4, that counts as a
that's
spare.
a spare. Yes.
That's a spare.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
see, I've run 9 pin tournaments at Riverwalk, and we only do it on the first ball. Where if you drop
Oh.
9,
It's
it
a
counts
strike.
as a strike.
Yeah.
But the second and the third balls still have to be bowled normally. Like, you'd still have to clear the deck for your spare or your 10 box.
Yeah.
But that's another interesting caveat. So scores could be astronomically through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
This puts a
they could
premium
be.
on hitting your objects left and right, head pins. And hey, this would actually be a perfect tournament for a guy like me that cherries the holy crap out of every single 2-pinner I see. They're all spares now. That's good. Holy crap.
That's why Tim likes bowling with me in 9 pins.
It's I don't know. I just I'll say this is the one thing about Stars and Strikes that I am really coming to appreciate is their willingness to try other formats and their willingness to be like, screw it, yeah, why not, let's give it a try.
Look, running a business is all about risk. You got to take that risk. You got to throw it out there to the people and give something, maybe not necessarily what they want, but maybe they didn't know they wanted it yet. You try. Maybe it fails. Maybe it succeeds. If it succeeds, you got a winner. You can keep going with it. You can run it yearly or like bi-monthly or something to that effect. But if you never try, you'll never know. You have to try.
I'm sure the ladder series will be back this fall that they were running at the end of it.
I do hope that they run those once a month in the fall. I really hope they do.
Speaking of that, Brian, you still have...
I do, yep. I looked at it. It's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. No, I know. When you guys get back from your trip, let's make sure we actually put a show, put a show together so we can do that. So again, 343 3-person 9-pin marathon tournament, June 19th at 9 a.m. at Stars and Strikes Bowling Center at 108 Park Street, South Paris, Maine. They will be using averages as of May 22nd. So for those of you that, I think there are some leagues that are still going. Most have finished up by now, I think. So must have 30 games to have an average.
Pretty much end of the season average. If you bowled a full season and you went to league, just use that average. You'll be good. Yep,
you'll be good. For more information, to sign up, you can contact Will Damon, Jeff LaPierre, or I'm sure you can probably just reach out to Stars and Strikes as well.
Will Damon.
Yes.
Sounds like Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
So that's cool.
Damon.
What the hell was that? Oh my god. Oh, see,
hi John.
This is when you give me toys.
Look, hey, we're excuse me, we're amateurs here, so we've got a professional. We're good.
Easy.
Hey, I didn't say he was a professional at what.
Look at the rub.
I didn't say he was a professional at what. I just said he was a professional.
All right, fair enough.
Marky, it's called the use of words.
It's true. The inflection is important.
Thank you.
Yes.
The second tournament I'd like to talk about, just because it is coming up, the mixed international national team tournament.
Patience.
June 12th and 13th at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, actually Bradford, Mass. If I'm not
Fact.
Haverhill. I say Haverhill.
Well, technically it is Bradford.
It's true. If you're
Look,
from
I'm alley
Bradford,
with
it's
the dunks
Bradford.
in the parking lot.
No, not anymore.
It's down the
What? They got
street.
rid of the dunks?
It's not dunks
It's
anymore.
down the street. It's on the same road. If you pull out of the parking lot and you go right
Yeah,
to go
it's
to the
down.
highway,
It's about a
it's
half
right
mile.
down there.
There's a cool little
Yeah.
sandwich shop down there on the right we ate at once.
However,
Pro Series.
I don't know if it's done yet or if it will be done in the next 2 weeks before the Mixed World starts, but they're putting in an Aroma Joe's in
Yeah.
where that Dunkin' Donuts was.
Okay.
So you should still be able to go over and grab a coffee. If that was one of the best parts about bowling a league at Academy, I'd bowl my 5 at like second string or something. I'd go out and I just put my booty. I wouldn't even change my shoes. I just put my booty on. I'd walk over. I'd grab a cup of coffee, come back with coffee for 2-3 people, and then go back up and bowl my second 5 of the string. It was perfect. It was right in the parking lot. It's perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I don't drink beer. I drink coffee. I like coffee.
Now, Academy, though, they have added a bar and with food, right?
They're getting there. Yes, I don't know if it's been installed yet. I haven't been in the building to check it out recently.
Okay.
I know that was the plan. His right side section has all been removed and it's all brand new lanes in there. He upgraded that section beautifully. It looks awesome. I think the next plan is for a full bar and like semi full food, but probably like your standards, your fries, your burgers, your chicken fingers, your things like that. Your pub food, I guess you'd say.
A small grill and a fryer.
That's the plan going forward, and he's going to kill it with that too when that gets going.
I think. Look, I've got a ton of respect for what they do down there and for what they do to the game. I may not bowl well in that house at times. It is a. I think we could probably call it one of the more difficult houses to bowl.
Quirky. I like to call it.
That's what I was going to say. It's quirky. It's moody.
There's moments where you can light it up. Huh?
Oh, go ahead. Continue.
No, I was going to say there's moments that you can go in and light it up. And then 5 boxes later, you're sitting on 39 after 5, scratching your head. Like, didn't I just throw 140? What the hell's going on? So it's difficult, but it's more quirky than hard, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's a really solid explanation. Because we've all bowled in hard houses.
Yes.
That it's not even quirky. It's
it's just tough.
It's tough. It's stupid tough.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the Candleprints for Cancer is presenting this. They have, I believe, 18 teams, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely impressed that they got 18 teams out of this, especially without our Canadian friends.
Speaking of that, I am hearing rumors that there's a possibility New Brunswick will open the main border for vaccinated people on July 1st. It is a rumor.
It's a step in the right direction. If it happens,
it is.
That'd be good.
It is, and I do believe Nova Scotia has opened within
There's no
Nova
travel
Scotia.
ban.
There's no travel ban effective this week, I think they said.
Yeah, schools go
It's like
back
Wednesday
Thursday.
or Thursday, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is their travel ban, though, was you couldn't even go to the next county within Nova Scotia. Like, no.
No, it was significantly more strict than many of the ones that were down here. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 18 teams. We've got the list here. I don't know if you guys want to go over the list or not, but I do have them.
You have rosters? Did Fuller get them? Has Fuller got his rosters yet?
I don't know if Fuller's got them, but I do have the rosters here that Nate updated as of 3 days ago, something like that.
But it'll be good. There's 18 teams. We're going to have 17 round robin OneString matches.
Yep.
It's a hell of a tournament for anybody that's bowled it, even people watching it. The actions. The good thing about the OneString is not necessarily for the bowlers. We don't really like OneString team matches, but if that's the tournament, that's the tournament. However, for the fans and the people watching, you're always watching a different team bowling against. So the action is a lot more faster.
You're getting a lot of good matchups too.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes. very much so. There's some matches that us as the bowlers, I want a 3-string match against this team. I don't want a 1-string match. That may not necessarily prove who's the best right now, but 1-string being 1-string, that's how we roll with it. So it'll still be a solid tournament.
Yes, I will say we have had a team name change. Our team has changed. We are the Penny Lane Prima Donnas. Because of the letter that Surratt got. Yeah. Pretty excited about that.
We found out who that was, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yes, we found out who that was.
Can we say it on air?
It was Mr. Irrelevant himself, because literally nobody knows about him in the Candlepin. I have contacted him, and I have spoken with him personally because I had a piece in this whole thing. He brought up classic Candlepins in that letter, and that was me amongst a few other people. John was involved with it also back in the day, and I've reached out and spoken to that person via YouTube message.
Yeah, Facebook, like that Facebook post that Surratt put up.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
We found out. I found out who the person was. I've talked to Jeff personally, and I've sent messages to that person saying that if you ever had any questions, maybe you should have asked the people who were running the show instead of making your assumption as to what happened. Yes, I know I put out a video, and maybe looking back on it now a long time ago, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but hindsight's 2020. We move on. We all make mistakes. That was a mistake on my part. I freely admit that. But at the same time, that's not up to other people to do what they did, and what that kid did was wrong. And I've spoken to him about it, and I don't know if he likes me now, but I personally don't care at all.
Well, I mean, he was right though. Jeff Surratt is a prima donna. 100%. Definitely wears a dress. I know he wears a dress.
I've never seen him personally in a dress.
There was no doubt in my mind. Kristen wears pants in that family. I can't wait to bowl with him in a couple weeks.
I think Tommy wears the pants in that family.
Tommy wakes up in the morning and goes, "Dad, go get me a cup of coffee."
Tommy wakes up in the morning and he just, he pisses excellence.
Piss excellence. I don't know what to tell you.
So no,
but anyway,
Islanders just tied the game.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Okay.
Poo-poo.
Yeah.
All right, we move on.
We do. We'll go.
That's
you know what?
funny,
We won't.
That's funny.
Yeah, we won't go over the rosters yet, just because I'm sure people are making some last minute adjustments to maybe add some prima donnas or get rid of some prima donnas, and maybe I'm going to need a new team after giving Surratt shit because I am on his team. So we'll see. We'll do that next week. Next Monday.
That'll be better. Yeah, the week before the tournament, right before the tournament gets going. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, lock letters.
We have lock letters?
We have lock letters. And I thought...
What the hell are lock letters?
We have to explain this to Mr. Deathdrop.
So, Calvin Locke...
Oh boy, here we go.
Gets very upset at us because we get questions from our listeners, and
as you should,
which is great. That's how we get a lot of our content. But a lot of times we will only get to like one question because, well, let's face it, all three of us like to talk.
Fact. And
so we don't get through them all. And so Calvin started giving us a hard time, which Calvin being Calvin, we came up with last week. We started calling them lock letters.
Right. We took lemons and we made lemonade out of it. We have a whole new segment called lock letters. Even my wife watched the show that week and said, "You guys need like an intro."
We do.
A picture of like a beating heart, and from the beating heart comes all the letters of lock letters, and it appears on the screen.
And if we weren't such an amateur production and actually had someone that knew what they were doing, Brian or Marky, not Tim, we could have that shit.
called Wait. Pink Floyd wrote a song about this. Time.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Eventually, we'll get there.
I'll work
When I-
on it. I'm going
when
to
I
start
actually
working on it.
Hey, listen, JT the Brick's going to retire soon, so they
When
need
I
something to
win
take his place.
when I win the Powerball or Mega Millions, and I can actually afford a full studio, and we have this professionally done, ripping the rack / dudes and belts studio,
Love it.
we'll make it all happen.
Yeah, but that's a long commute for
No, because
Half of
we can
us.
be remote.
ah.
You do it right. You do it so it can be done remotely.
I'm going to start working on something, though, because this needs to be done. Calvin is too important of an individual to the show that is ripping the rack to not have his own intro.
Yes.
Loyal
So-
fans
Too
come
important. What?
Johnny, I'm gonna
The
start
loyal
with
fans come first.
Oh, with me.
you. Yeah, I'm gonna start with you on this one.
Oh boy, go.
So we've all talked about this in the past, but you're new to you're a new guest. So what's your favorite memory or memories, plural, from bowling?
Based off of my career so far,
No, mine.
Yeah.
I was just making sure.
Yes, based off from your bowling.
I mean, it would have to be 2018. I mean, that's the year that I won the world. That was the year that, I completed something that I've been working for a long time. And I finally have my name on the trophy. And the way that it happened was awesome. We did it in our home house in front of our home crowd, I guess you could say. And it was a special moment. I had one of my good friends on my right, and one of the guys that I've been bowling with for years, and Garnge on my left, and it was meant to be that year. And in terms of that being my only one, there's been a couple here or there, but if I had to pick one, I would say that would be my most fond memory. And just me having my picture taken next to Cookie winning his 5th, and just keeping that as like a little keepsake for all the years that I've been bowling, being able to have my picture taken with my teammate Dave Richards holding the trophy next to him. Probably something that I'll never forget.
It's there is nothing, and I can speak, John. I can speak to this, and I know what you're feeling. There is nothing like it in the game of candlepin bowling. Knowing
It's just getting there. The journey itself, the whole week of grinding, is. I mean, it's gratifying. It's satisfying as what you work for all year, every season. Is for that one moment.
True
That
words.
you're able to go through a week of hell, basically, competing against the Luckies and the Marias, and like the main event, and all these top teams, just having to go through all those guys just to get to the finals, and having to face Lucky and being lucky, and it seems like that's a trend with them sometimes. But I mean,
I was going to say, was that really a challenge beating them in the finals?
what are they, 1-7, I think, or something like that?
Oh man, Surratt is going to kick my ass.
Yes, he is.
So I have a
Tune in for that
feeling somebody
video.
on that prima donna team from Rockland's bowling, but it might be me and not you.
But no. Much respect for Lucky, because they get there every year, and they go through the exact same thing every year, and then they're a bunch of good guys.
Oh, I'm not. Everybody knows I give them shit, but I like each and every one of them personally, and I think they're all great bowlers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've said it on this show a number of times that I think right now Baker and Surratt are probably two of the best bowlers in the game. Still, and let's face it, Baker's been doing this almost as long as I have. I think his first year in the world was something like 94, I think. Mine was 92. And of course, Jeff's been doing this since the mid 90s as well, mid or late '90s. I don't know. That whole team, they're all tremendous bowlers. Except Bovair, he sucks.
Actually, you know what? I do have one other memory that I completely forgot about when I was a kid. That is kind of like almost par with the worlds, believe it or not. So when I was, I think, 10, I was 10 years old, bowling in juniors at Pilgrim at the time, and we have our annual Rock and Bowl. I believe it was the final year that Tom Morgan was alive. And they had a special thing at that Rock and Bowl Forum. Well, the year before that, I got my second turkey pin up in Canada when I went up north for that tournament every year. So I had the turkey pin. Me and my mom got together, and I pinned the turkey pin on a card and wrote like a note. I can't remember what it said. It was so long ago. But I wrote a note, sent it to Tom. And I was saying, thank you so much for all the good memories of your career. Yeah, I enjoyed watching you, so on and so forth. And so we get to the Rock and Bowl, and they have a special announcement. I don't know what the hell's going on. And Tom Morgan gets up on the mic, and he thanked me for that note and said a nice little speech for me. And then I have Mikey Morgan coming around off the side, basically charging at me. And
Mikey was like that, though. He do goofy shit like that all the time. Yeah.
And he just picked me up and hugged me for like 15 minutes in front of a house of like 500 people.
Yeah.
Because the Rock and Bowl used to be big. And I think besides the Worlds, I think that's my other, personal moment in this game is to be able to give him my turkey pin along with a get well soon card. Because at that point, I wasn't thinking about cancer or his condition at the time. I knew he was sick.
Yeah.
So I sent that to him, and I made Mikey tear up. I made Tommy tear up. I mean, half the house teared up over that moment. And I choked up, too, once I realized what was going on. So
that's a big moment for a young man.
Yeah.
Especially in the game.
Put that as 1A, I think. The World's 1, and then 1A would be that moment.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And then he passed away about 3 months later.
Yeah.
So that would have been,
I think that was 2000.
I was going to say late 90s, early, must have been around 2000 then. Because I think.
Yeah. I think he died in 2001.
I think so.
Yeah. So the Worlds was in February of 2001. So it was right before my 11th birthday when that happened.
Rock and Bowl.
Rock and Bowl. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rock and Bowl.
I was going to say, you had me confused. I was like.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah. It was 2001 when he passed, and the Rock and Bowl was in February of 2001, and I was getting ready to turn 11.
Okay. God.
So yeah, those are my two fondest memories of Candlepin as of right now.
Okay. So John, let me ask you this, and we've kind of answered this, the three of us, but I'll ask you as well. So, bowling where you did down in Pilgrim and things like that, which was obviously huge from the kids league and things like that.
Correct.
Who did you really did you ever model yourself after any of the adults at that time? Like, who did you look up to with bowling?
Tony Marie Baldinelli was my mentor, was my coach.
Okay.
And it has always been, and I'll still call her my success. I will always base my success off of her teaching. All day, every day. She taught me so much when I was a kid, 5, 6, 7 years old, when I first started really getting into Candlepin, really started to compete. She was always the one behind me. And I know you have Bart Medeiros, and I know you have like Pam Emery and all those coaches, Mary Wall. But Tony Marie was the one that pulled me aside and kind of honed myself together mentally from an early age. That's why you don't really see me talk, or you don't really see me kind of outbursts whenever I'm having a bad game or whenever I'm in a funk. Because that was one of the first things she told me is you need to have a strong mental game if you're going to succeed in this game. And from the moment she said that, that's when I started to fine tune everything. Now, obviously, I was a little kid at the time, so obviously temper tantrums and shit happened from time to time.
Fact. Yes.
Fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the moment that I did it, that's when she kind of took me in really quick and be like, stop fucking around.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Get up there, throw your next two, forget about the 2 box that you threw, get up there and hit the headpin. That's all I want you to do is to hit the headpin. And she'd be on my ass constantly. But that was the kind of coach that she was. And then later on, obviously, I went to Leo's, and then Joe Brown kind of took me in, and he's my other one. But
Okay.
my main candlepin experience, my main, I guess, teachings, I guess you could say, was from Tony Marie Baldinelli.
Well, doesn't really get any
You
better
know,
than her. I mean,
to attest
Jesus.
to what John was saying, my last 3 years, like I grew up in Somerville, which was nowhere near Haverhill, but my last 3 years of juniors, me and a few of my buddies would drive to Pilgrim every Saturday morning just to bowl in their junior league because it was that good. It was the premier program anywhere around us. And Tony Marie was the head coach of the entire league. She virtually ran it, her and Bart in equal parts. But between her and Bart, they both had very different coaching styles. Tony Marie was so influential to the younger kids because the parents knew who she was. They had seen her on TV. And like there's a good 10 years difference between John and I. So when he was in the younger kids, I was in the older kids, 90s. Well, I think it was 96, 97, and 98. That the 3 years that I was there. And she, like at that point, I was much older than John. I already knew how to bowl. I had already been to a lot of tournaments, gotten a couple wins, but she taught us the mental game. She would always focus more on the mental. She'd come up and say, listen, you guys already know how to throw the ball, but you have to learn how to deal with it when it doesn't go the way you want. Or even more importantly, how to deal with it when it is going all good, how to not keep your head in the clouds, how to bring yourself back down. She was very influential in speaking about how to deal with the mental game, and that the fact that she molded so many of the young ones at that time coming up that are now around John's age, between 30 and like 35 or so, is a testament. You can look at any of them, the kids that came out of Pilgrim Lanes in those days, and many of them were some of the best bowlers of their generations and were usually pretty level-headed about dealing with things. She was very, very influential with the way she
Do not
coached.
have a temper tantrum near her, because what I
She
said,
would rip your
she would
ear off.
absolutely rip you apart.
She'd come
No
down and
joke.
grab your ear and pull you off the lanes. Legit, no joke.
Mm-hmm.
She was the best with it.
I'm surprised I still have my left one after the last one she did.
I remember
Yeah.
yelling at my dad, she grabbed my ear, and he goes, you probably deserved it. And I went, yeah, I did,
Yep.
actually.
Brian, what about you?
My dad, I grew up going to the alley. I mean, the bowling alley was the first place I went besides my house and the hospital. I was like 4 or 5 days old the first time I went into a bowling alley. And then Dad taught me to bowl. Number one, because he wanted me to bowl, but number two, because it was cheaper than giving me quarters to play Mortal Kombat. It was more cost effective for Dad to teach me how to bowl. So I learned how to bowl, and there was a couple guys at that alley at the time, like Timmy Fields is a guy in Maine, older guy, really, really solid, good bowler back in the day. He taught Dad how to bowl. And then, he's on my left, but that asshole on the screen there has done a pretty good job of teaching me how to keep my head for the most part. But honestly, when I started bowling with Tim, I did start, I noticed my average went up because of the mental aspects. It was, believe it or not, he is a decent coach at telling you to keep your head out of your ass. And it's just everybody else too. It's hard to explain. It's this, I say it's stupid, but it's true. It takes a village. Like if you want to immerse yourself in this game, I did this at my first Worlds, and I highly, highly encourage, if you are old enough when you go to your first Worlds, to do this. Sunday night, go down to the bar and just sit there and just listen. Because you will hear the best bowling stories you've ever heard in your life.
from the
And
best
that's kind
bowlers.
of, yeah, and that's
Yes.
how you immerse you. That's what I can say. It's not really one or two people. I've tried to immerse myself in the sport and be a sponge when I'm around guys like Holbrook and Bobby Witt. And, my first couple worlds, it was just watching these guys I'd only heard of from Canada. And it's just immersing yourself is the biggest thing you can do if you want to get good in this sport.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a true thing, though. I heard some of I went down there and it was like Myrick and a couple young guys talking about, they asked the whole bar who the best bowler ever was. And oh my God, the debates.
Mm-hmm.
There were names come up like,
Well,
obviously you had yours, but then you had guys that sometimes go really, like Det Klein was brought up. I mean, not at that time. I was like, who the hell's Det Klein?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with the whole, the best bowler debate is
it's very personal.
It is very personal, and it's also very geographic, and it's also very generational. It's funny because I still don't think of myself as an older guy. I still, in my head, think of myself as, that 30, mid 30s, but I'm 50. Like I turned 50 this year. So I span two different generations of bowling. I've got the older generation, your Charlie Myland, your Russ Neal's, your Tommy Olstas, Jeff Atkins, those guys. And then I span the younger generations of the Surretts and the Bakers and the, Richies and the Starners and I can keep going with the guys that bowl.
It's okay. You don't need to say my name and don't feel awkward about it.
I wasn't going to because we're talking about. Now I will say this, and I'll say this. I'll say this.
He'll get a foot in the bag for that one at some point next year during league.
No, what I'll say is this: if you want to talk best teammates, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Brian Athern is one of the best teammates I've ever had. Period, bar none. If you're talking team bowlers, Brian is the guy I look to as a team bowler.
That can occasionally get it done.
Again, as a team bowler. But the whole topic of best bowler ever is just, you're going to get the majority of people are going to say Tommy Olsa. You're going to get your Canadians are going to sit back and say, a Hal Peterson or Kansas Snow or a Donnie Gauthier or something or a Robbie Henderson,
Tony
LeBlanc, things like that. Your main guys are going to sit back and go Charlie Myland, Russ Nealey, and your New Hampshire guys are going to go, well, Timmy Lipke, things like that. Mm-hmm. So it is very geographical and it is very generational.
It's almost like there's no true answer to it because there's so many variables that go into the question. It's almost a question made for debate.
Yes, because your conditions for Charlie Myland when he was winning 20 plus state championships in a row were vastly different than what they are now.
True.
But wooden pins and rubber caps.
But Charlie Myland in his prime now, if he was bowling now and he was in his prime, would probably again be up near the top because of how good he was back then. It goes no different for a Tommy Olsta.
True.
I have the pleasure of being able to watch Tommy bowl and bowl against him. Held my own a couple of times.
2K Sports, are you listening? We need a 2K candlepin game.
Oh my God, it'd be awesome.
We got to bring all these guys back. We got to get them ratings. We got to put all their stuff together. We got to create stats, and we got to do crazy shit. And then we got to auto sim like the world singles with all these guys in it and see who wins the trophy.
Go on Epic Games and download the engine.
Yeah, that worked pretty good for you guys.
The Unreal 4 engine is free on Epic Game Store. Just got to figure out how to use it.
It would explode my computer.
So the last question I want to ask, and I'm going to rotate this between all three of you guys. And we have a hard stop at 45 minutes today.
This is your fucking Yim Nadero fucking question.
No. Maki, who is your favorite Maine bowler?
Oh, Jesus Christ, no.
Okay, who is your favorite Maine bowler?
Oh, my fucking God.
Favorite Maine bowler with a name that rhymes with Gim Didero. And the answer can't be Karen Matero.
How is that not an answer?
Because it can't. Because Karen does not.
That was going to be my answer.
Karen does not rhyme with Gim.
In a different language, it probably does.
No, actually,
don't be languageist.
My question that was asked, and I'm going to ask it, Brian. I'm going to start with you.
Yay!
How much practice?
You get to be first at something.
Yeah. How much practice is too much practice?
I could tell you what. One year when I was in college, I bowled 4 nights a week, and I fucking hated bowling at the end of that year. I bowled Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, and then I took Friday off, and then my dumb ass bowled a lot of tournaments on weekends. When you only have like 1 day a week you don't bowl, it kind of starts to suck. And you get like, you bowl good on Monday, maybe, but your week just gets worse because you're just tired. I think that's too much. I think the right amount of practice is however much extra you can bowl and not have it affect your tournament or league play. I know that's a weird way of saying that. That probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this question. It's just, and I know where this question is coming from. It's coming from, oh, fuck. They scored again.
Yeah.
Islander score. What's the score? 2-1?
3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Yeah. But it's 3 minutes left in the second. I asked, and I know where this question is coming from. It's coming from someone that is trying to get better. They are not there yet, and they want to get there. So I understand where they're coming.
We need players like that on the way up that need to know how to practice, how to learn how to practice.
Yeah.
Chip
Johnny,
Carson once told me that you need to throw 40 strings a week if you want to be peak. But that's also back in the heydays of you bowled every freaking weekend at least 10 strings.
Yeah. Johnny, what about you? How much practice is too much practice?
So when I was young, I kind of pulled Brian and bowled too much. So as I got older and as the body started to wear down a little bit, I always try to cap myself at 8 strings a week. 1 speed league and 1 3-string league. And have one of those leagues be the competitive league and the other league be a shoot the shit practice type of league, almost. Where you don't care about your attitude. Yes, yeah. Beers and just working on your game, and you don't care what average you're throwing. And obviously, if you have tournaments that week, then you add a workload on that. But just to keep yourself consistent and loose, I always go for 8 strings a week, 1 speed league and 1 3-string. Shoot the shit league, or the 5-string league could be the shoot the shit, and the 3-string could be like Friday Pro League. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my recommendation. Obviously, you got young kids that just want to bowl, go bowl. Just don't overdo it.
I mean, don't go bowl 20 before you got to bowl 10-stringer the next day, but.
And you might as well get it all out of your system, because once you hit 30 plus, you're going to be hating yourselves for the 3 or 4 years in your early 20s that you're doing it. So,
Maki, what about you?
Yeah, it ends up taking a toll. So I kind of look at practice a little bit different. Bobby Brown, I don't know if you guys remember Bobby. He was a head coach of the Woburn Kids League, old bowler in his own right, but he was one of the smartest men I ever came in contact with through the years. And I remember when I was on the way up and I was trying to get better, I was bowling in house leagues, averaging like 105, 106, but really trying to get going. I would come down and turn on a lane at Woburn and I would just bowl, right? Like 5, 10 strings. And he would come down and say, well, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just practicing. He goes, all right, what are you practicing? I'm like, I'm just bowling. I'm just bowling box to box. And he goes, bowling box to box isn't practice. That's bowling. If you're going to practice, you'd want to work on something. You know, even in a fresh rack of pins, you can still pick out the 7 and the 10 pin and work on your corners. I look at practice like that. To me, practice is going in and doing a thing, the same thing repetitively, not necessarily just burying the head pin and trying to make the next spares and stuff. But I try to go in, and even when I practice, like I still practice to this day, I turn the lane on at Riverwalk and I'll try to see how many times in a row I can hit the 7 pin clean out of a rack. I'll try to see how many times I can hit the 3 pin with only the 3 pin. So I try to just pick pins. Maybe that's late level practice, like how you get going. But if you're in the beginning, you want to have some kind of competitive league, because they do say that competition will make you better. Bowling against people that are better than you will make you better. So you want to be in a league where there are some better bowlers than you. But then there's also time for one-on-one time with the pins. And me personally, if I'm just bowling games, like just bowling box to box, not like practicing pin picking, personally, to me, I find 2 or 3 strings a day more than enough. You bowl more than that, you start getting sweaty, you start getting tired, you start practicing mistakes. Now you're heaving, you're huffing. So when you start getting the big sweat going and you're huffing, it's time to stop. In my own mind, I have some friends that I'm trying to mentor up at Riverwalk, some of the older guys, trying to get into it, not professionally, but just getting to a point where they can average 100, 105 in their leagues. And I'm trying to mentor them and help them out a little bit. And a few of them, like, we bowl 2 strings together, and then we put the balls away. Work hard for 2 games and then put it away. You don't do 50 reps with the bench.
Right.
You do 10, and then let the body rest for 5 minutes, and then you go back and you do a few more. So it's important to push yourself, but don't push yourself beyond the brink. Then you start practicing mistakes, and that's when any good that you worked on could end up being regressed into, what am I doing? And then your head's a mess, and you turn into a fluff and nut sandwich, and the whole thing went to crap. Yeah. So it's very personally based how you do.
So I'm not going to answer it because we're up against the hard stop. We're actually a couple minutes over, so I'll answer that. I'll answer that question next week, and we'll go from there.
Cool.
Want to thank Johnny. John, thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciated having you on. For those of you that would like to know, Johnny is going to join us Friday morning as well. We're gonna,
oh boy, it's going to be a good one.
Oh,
yes, it is.
You're going to see some different sides of some people.
You might even see an old intro come back for one morning only.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
I know what intro it is.
So
it's the crunchy. It's the crunchiest.
Is it the crunch? Oh, crunch. The crunch is going to be back.
Folks, as a reminder, please get us your questions, get us your comments, your concerns about Brian, your concerns about Marky. Send those to them. Everything else you can send to rippingtherackpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, kind of on Instagram, not quite yet, and on Brian's OnlyFans account.
That doesn't exist and never will.
At Ripping the Rack Podcast. Brian, where else can they listen to us?
OnlyFans. Hold up. OnlyFans?
No.
Oh yeah, no. We'll go there on the next show. On the next
episode. They can listen to us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, YouTube, and wherever else you listen to your podcast mediums.
Folks, appreciate it. Again, check us out Friday morning, Ripping the Rack Podcast, and check these 3 Yahoos out on Sunday nights. Johnny Death Drop Twitch channel, Dudes and Belt Chatcast. It's actually pretty cool. You can learn some stuff. Appreciate it.
TV/Johnny Death Drop.
There you go. Thank you, guys.
All right, buddy.
See you later.